Welcome back to HCS Fort Worth, presented by LVT, and we finally got into our match here. It's going to be LVT versus Native White. This is going to be an incredible series, and you know what? I want to see what LVT is capable of.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, we've been talking about objective efficiency a lot today, and I feel like that's one of LVT's strong suits, is they know how to get the most out of situations where other teams might not get as much ball time or might not get a flag cap. And even though there's so many superstars on the side of Native White, if they're not going to be objective efficient, it doesn't matter how good you are. So I think it's going to be a very hotly contested match here.
As you can see, we've got all the names here laid out for you guys as well. Shout out to LVT in the back for that. Shout out to the producers. But yeah, of course, you're going to see on your screen Mikwen, the player you're talking about, being one of the best snipers in the game. We'll see if he's able to utilize that shock rifle, gets the first kill there, but ends up going down. No ball time being acquired just yet. Ball's in a really rough spot there on the batteries. Lots of slays have to come out for that ball to go.
Yeah, honestly, it looks like Native White was able to toss the ball into Needles here because, like you said, very hard to actually accumulate any ball time or even get control of it when it sits batteries. Love that they're already in this setup. This is actually very efficient. I would like to see one of these players extend to top gold, though, because currently no one's watching the cross into A, but we've got the shock rifle in the hands of Mikwen, as we called him out before. This guy is absolutely insane with any kind of sniper rifle.
Yeah, I believe, tapping buttons is the player, but honestly, I've watched him back in Orlando. Absolutely phenomenal with the shock. I don't know what it is. I think tapping buttons is one of the best shock players we have in the game. Just constantly on this map, just feels very comfortable, right? He's just a very comfortable player with that shock rifle in his hands, and you can see that ball consistently being obtained there. Another shot comes out from tapping buttons. That ball gets rotated into pipes. They take care of the problem in pipes. I believe that was Piggy, and that's going to be another player down once again for tapping buttons, starting off this game 5-1.
Yeah, very strong stuff. I think what makes a player good with the shock rifle is their reticle placement. You see that every door he pushes into, he's got the reticle trained at exactly head level. He's also got the awareness to know when it's likely someone will push through certain doorways and able to just pull the trigger and hit the shot every time. A lot of the shock rifle play really comes down to reading the map. Oh, we almost saw a triple kill there as the camo comes up, but it looks like the camo might have gone into the hands of LVT.
Yeah, it looks like LVT does pick up that camo. If that triple came out, that camo would not be there, so that could be definitely a positive for them, because 57 seconds on the board already for Native White here. Finally, LVT do put their first couple seconds here down, and that will be another kill coming out from Kuhlect. 3 down for Native White there momentarily. A couple come off a spawn, but Kuhlect's going to be pushing here in a disadvantageous position as he doesn't have any teammates to really work around him, but he gets the kill anyway.
Yeah, so important as the last player alive to play your life and isolate a fight. That's exactly what he did. He didn't even give himself the chance to get double teamed while he knew he had no help. Isolates a 1v1, wins it, and now suddenly the rest of his team has a lot easier time getting into the pipes here.
And again, that comes down to those the numbers that you get with your team coming off a spawn. You get that first initial kill. Great play out of Kuhlect there, but LVT will get that ball once again, bring it into pipes. They'll continue to add a little bit more time here on the board, and it's going to be, of course, tapping buttons who ends up getting team shot there pretty quickly. That's going to be 2 down for Native White, and maybe some more time. That plasma pistol is going to hit. They get the cleanup as well. 3 down for Native White.
People don't talk about the plasma pistol as a power weapon, but it most certainly is. That thing can delete. It's been deleting players since Halo 2. I mean, yes. Combo back then, not quite as powerful nowadays, but still extremely powerful. I think the teamwork on the side of LVT was starting to come to life right there. But great push from Native White. At the same time, we do get a great ball play as well, even though it didn't fully make it out off of the ledge here. Just being out in the open is going to make it harder for Native White to grab it.
Yeah, KingJay very intelligently plays his life there as well. Going to get double pushed here on the pipes. A nade comes out. The assist comes through, so he's going to push aggressively here on this 1v1. Gets his shields back. The double melee. Gets the trade. Probably not what he wanted, but what he does want is that lead with the ball time. And it looks like they're going towards that as well, with Sab picking up that camo.
Yeah, honestly, I think he's totally fine with that trade. I mean, they already had a few other kills on the map. His teammates got the ball. Trade's totally fine. Obviously, both players are going to be off the map for a period of time, but if you're already winning that kind of neutral exchange, that trade is totally fine.
Well, you can see right here, Sab in a massive flank position. Gets a couple of shots onto one player. Gonna get that first kill. Is that the value you want of this camo? Maybe not. He's looking for more. But it's going to be, of course, Mikwen, the sniper he talked about, with that shock rifle on the bat ledge. Sab's got to be careful of that. does get that trade here onto that player of Native White, and 73-57, LVT still maintain this lead.
Yeah, Kuhlect though with the shock rifle. I've seen this in Twitter clips. You don't want this guy to have this gun. I think I saw him hit 2 overkills back-to-back with this gun in matchmaking. This guy is absolutely insane with it, and look how confident he is, just pushing straight in. I have to imagine his teammates said, hey, let's push this out, which was Suspector. They do make the 2-man push, but all get taken down afterwards. So LVT with the lead and a chance for the setup right here.
Yeah, that 3 dead is going to definitely hurt. They're going to rotate that ball through blue pipes. They know the spawns are coming out onto A. That ball will make it through, and you see beautiful job here containing the players on side of A off of that spawn. Because of that, they're able to get at least 10 seconds of ball time, and now they've got a bit of a setup, and they're in position to stop the push. Beautiful 2 kills, 3 down for Native White. More ball time being acquired.
Wow, how many ball kills have we seen? I'm pretty sure that LVT just got 3 or 4 ball melee kills during the last couple minutes here, and they look to close out this round.
All the pushes coming out of the tower. They've got to stop this one last push. They will get the time needed. First round goes to LVT in game number 1.
Great objective efficiency. That rotation really sealed them the round. You saw how quickly they identified the spawners in A, immediately rotated to blue or C, however you want to call it. Probably the best part of the map to hold the ball, in my opinion. It's really annoying to try to push in there, and then on top of that, you know, even if you do get a few kills, they just throw it off the map, and guess what? They're probably going to spawn in gold because you pushed all the way in the C, so they're going to spawn next to the new ball. So love to see the objective efficiency out of LVT early here.
Well, they get 3 down right off the bat here in round number 2. Look at the shots here coming out from Sab. He's going to miss that last one, but they'll get this ball rotated over towards red, and it's going to be Diagram on the defense here. The push comes in, a double push coming into Whirlpool. Make that a triple push. 2 down for LVT, and this could be a setup now for Native White.
Yeah, but they're all in A. They need to extend into gold. That's why you see this player coming back to fight for gold. A hold of all your players in A is not very strong. Easy to collapse in on that. So I'd love to see Native White immediately spreading out, going to gold. They understand that they need this extra cross-section of angles to gatekeep LVT from pushing into the setup.
Oh, a beautiful push here on the top of gold. You talked about how important that is. They get that first initial kill there on the Mikwen. Kuhlect goes down as well. Now they're trying to prevent this rotation from happening. It's going to be up to KingJay here. He's got to get these kills on the top tower. Gets that first initial kill. Wow. 2 dead again. And that's going to be Diagram with a shock now pushing in on the advantage. They are outslaying Native White incredibly right now.
Yeah, and you love to see that. They cut off. It was actually a great rotation from Native White. They lost the control of the gold side. Like I said, A by itself is not very good. They said, let's get out of here. So they rotated to C, but LVT cut them off on their way. They predicted the rotation ahead of time, able to get the kills and get some ball time for it. Oh. And man, when they've got the shock rifle, you better watch out. Every member in this lobby, honestly, is insane with this gun.
I mean, it's just such an insane gun to have on a map, and you know, Recharge being the only map that houses it, that these players have definitely gotten really solid. The double beatdown does come out. Tapping buttons with a shock rifle can be a problem 100%. He's going to get another kill here on the batteries. A killing spree to boot, and he throws the ball over towards Whirlpool, trying to initiate that rotation into A.
I actually like this situation for Native White. I know that Hoaxer is standing behind them as their coach, and he saw the shock rifle get depleted in ammo, and he's already timing the next shock rifle because he knows if his team is able to rotate and get the shock, their team has a very good chance of breaking a setup or holding a setup. So I'm going to expect to see Native White make a rotation to try to control a gold, get control of gold here in the next 20 seconds or so when that shock rifle is respawning.
See a little bit of slow play here. LVT does get a little bit of ball time here on the board. They have an A setup as well. It's going to be Piggy here on your screen, pushing and aggressing towards C. What's the reason that they're aggressing towards this point of the map?
Well, this is, like I said, it's so irritating to break into the setup. There's only a few doorways, right? There's the there's the VR tower, there's the C ramp, and even if they are able to break into it, they can easily throw the ball off the map. Guess what? The other team pushed in here. They're now blocking the C spawns. That means your team's likely to spawn at the new ball anyways. It's just a win-win situation to take the ball to C.
And once again, that top gold player was the last player to anchor that spawn. They kill him, and they rotate the ball to A, just like you said. And now they're continuing to add time to the score. 54 seconds. And with round number 1 already solidified here for LVT, all but 43 seconds is what they need to close this first game out.
Yeah, and 2 kills showing up in the scoreboard for LVT. Sab understanding his position on that side. All he has to do is watch the cross. Both players watching each other's crosses. This is, in my opinion, the strongest setup in all of Halo Infinite. To just have a guy top gold, have a guy needles, and have a guy top A. They can all kind of work together. No matter where the push comes from, they can usually respond to it. But it takes a Herculean effort like the one we're seeing from Native White. Looks like they sent 3 players straight into the needler area. They get several dead, but is it going to be enough?
Oh, Diagram has just put so much damage in. He gets a double kill. That ball does get played towards the bottom center of the map, and now they get the spawns onto the C plat. These spawns will allow them to push towards that ball, and you see with Native White going for that touch, some damage does come through, but they're stuck at the bottom because of that play ball. Once again, LVT are in a power position to stop this ball time on the side of Native White, but they go down, and Native White potentially with a couple more slays will get this ball towards the top of A. But look at this, Diagram just putting massive damage into many players, not able to clean any up though. Native White go 2 down.
Yeah, but the ball started at the bottom, and it's still at the bottom.
Still at the bottom.
Because it's so hard to get the ball out of this Mangler pit, man. You gotta completely commit. And if there's any players alive on the other team, they're not going to let you get out. But LVT actually able to be the team that gets it safely into A. We've got fights happening on multiple sides of the map here. And LVT once again rotating it to C. They know that they only need 20 more seconds here to close out the game. Even if this player dies, he's just going to reset it. That's why we see KingJay is just holding pipe. Such a huge pick right there because he knows that if the ball's getting reset, he has to hold this area. He does hold it for a while, but Native White does take him down. That could be a big kill there.
Yeah, we can see a little bit of a stalemate. That was a huge kill, and because he gets traded out, there's a bit of a stalemate on both sides of the map with that ball being into batteries, but a big lead here and only 1 minute and 42 seconds left on the clock. So a lot of work needs to be done here from Native White for them to prevent this first game going in the hands of LVT. But LVT looks like they're just going to play the slay game here. With this ball here inside of batteries, all they've got to do is slay out just a bit. They do end up rotating it. There are 2 players onto the A side, and you see a little bit of a grapple play. They take the ball back and throw it into the pit.
You know why he did that? He saw his teammates spawn at C. So in Oddball, wherever your teammates are spawning, the game has decided that's the safest part of the map. That's why it spawned them there. So if that's the safest part of the map, just rotate the ball there. So and you were seeing that even though it looked like they were starting to hold an A setup, when he saw his teammates spawn C, he said, oh, they must already be an A, so I'm going to throw it towards my teammate. Great heads-up awareness from KingJay.
And the defensive hold is so strong. LVT take game number 1 here in this series against Native White. What an incredible game number 1, and that's going to give them massive amounts of confidence going into game number 2. Going into this Slayer, Native White being a roster that I would say is touted to be better than LVT on paper, but, you know, showcasing what happens here on LAN when your back's up against the wall, you make things happen. A 2-0 lead for game number 1. They'll go to Aquarius Slayer coming up next.
That's the thing about things being on paper. In this game, it doesn't matter.
Right.
If your teamwork is better, if you have more heads-up plays, if you put yourself in the right positions, it doesn't matter if the other team is, quote-unquote, more skilled than you, because this game is all about teamwork. That's where the dynamic is with this game. The skill gap is in teamwork. And honestly, every time I've seen this roster, LVT, play together, they've displayed some of the highest teamwork that I've ever seen, and I think that's why they're able to just rise to the top time and time again. These guys are incredible players, but what makes them so good is their communication, their coordination, and always having each other's backs. Very rarely do any kills go unfinished on this squad.
I was able to see a little bit, just a glimpse of the damage coming out of there, and what a phenomenal amount of damage. 6,400 in that game.
Oh my God.
I think it was 1,000 more than every other player in that game, so incredible job.
Yeah, great stuff. I think we're hopping into game number 2 here. Haven't seen what the map is just yet, but
it's Aquarius Slayer.
Aquarius,
okay. Yep. Aquarius Slayer for game night. That very, we talked about it, a little bit of an interesting map there. I like Aquarius on CTF. Slayer, it's a little bit, I don't know, it just plays a little bit random, a little bit weird, just because, you know, I feel like because of the spawns, you know, coming out on either side, there's no static spawns. What do you think about that?
I do think this is probably one of the hardest game types to predict spawns accurately, because you just can't stand in enough positions to
right.
You know what I mean? Like,
right, yeah.
But what I think is cool about this game type is you can choose to just be like a 2 or 3 man wrecking crew and just kind of run like clockwise or counterclockwise as a unit together. Like one guy goes through car 3, one guy goes through car 2. You both collapse on the util together, then you continue on, collapse on the fridge on the other side. You just keep going, and I'm interested to see which team does that. I think the teams that lose this game type are ones that play it too slow when they're stuck in a base or in the util, and they just give the other team an opportunity to collapse on them. And you really got to make sure you're not getting collapsed on. You want to take space around the map and make sure you have several different angles at the same time to succeed in this game type.
Well, we're seeing already that two-person wrecking ball you talked about here out of LVT Halo. You'll see them constantly kind of pushing through it, pace slowing down just a bit here. But the power weapons here in the hands of KingJay. This Heat Wave being one of the only power weapons on the map. He's gonna whip that shot. That's Heat Wave now in the hands of Native White. Let's see if they're able to do any damage with it. They do get a kill there. That was a momentary 3 dead here for LVT. And now a tie game, 8-8.
That was actually the last shot of the Heat Wave that KingJay shot. So the new Heat Wave is probably going to spawn around the 9:45 mark. We're going to see if, you know, the coach on site at LVT, Thug Nasty, if he's able to give them the heads up on that, maybe rotate to P and make sure they grab that when it comes back up.
You know, with these, with the time changing on those red racks from 30 seconds to a minute, I can't imagine it. Like 30 seconds was crazy. Like,
oh, it was insane. It was actually 15 seconds.
Oh, you're right. It was 15 seconds at the very beginning. You're absolutely right. To me, it was, you know, just a lack of utilization of the sandbox in the beginning of Halo Infinite, and then once players evolved and they were able to realize how important the sandbox was, then, you know, it got changed.
Well, I mean, that's what made the shock rifle so insane, was it had a ridiculous amount of ammo, and then as soon as it runs out, you just, 15 seconds later, you just grab the new one.
Right.
So, love to see the changes 343 has made. I think they've made a lot of good decisions when it comes to trying to make the game a little bit more balanced and play a bit better. And I think we've got a great state of the game right now.
Well, the state of this game so far is a 2-kill lead for Native White. We'll see if LVT can bring it back just a bit here. We're not really seeing that 2-person run out of them thus far. We are kind of seeing that in the front of Yellow. We'll see if that turns into any kills thus far. But on your screen, you've got Mikwen. He's using the Needler, and you know, Mikwen definitely got to test this game for 3 years. He was like a big factor in creating this game. So when you're seeing him with the Needler, you're like, why is he using that weapon? Needler is extremely strong. It's actually extremely strong on this game, and he's using it for that factor. He's using the sandbox to utilize the sandbox to get those you know, very quick kills.
What's really interesting about the sandbox in this game is the BR is extremely versatile.
Right.
However, every item on the map is situationally better than it. So the Needler is situationally better if your enemy has nowhere to run. But as we saw, LVT actually counterplay the Needler right there just by juking behind the wall for a second, understanding that they're not going to get the super combine if they miss a few of the needles. So great understanding, honestly, on both sides about the sandbox here.
Well, this game is extremely close. LVT finally take a lead here, 24-23. 2 down for Native White. You see right away Sab pushing in on the aggression, gets the killing spree, looking for more as well, saves his teammate, the thrust comes out, the beautiful shots come through again, and he's not stopping. He gets that player no shields. I'm not sure if he was cleaned up, but regardless, 28-24, LVT have a 4-kill lead.
Sab doesn't have the most kills on his team, but he does have 7 assists. This guy has always been in the fight. Every time I've ever watched him play, I'm so impressed with his tactical ability in these fights. He seems to always hit the shot that matters most at the end. He's so hard to win a piv against, and he's been a huge difference maker here. Now with 10 kills, only 6 deaths, and 7 assists to boot.
This is what you call flow state right here, and it looks like LVT really utilizing that. Their teamwork looks just phenomenal right now. Look at their ability to stay alive as well. It's going to be Diagram on your screen. A young player in Diagram gets the assist there, ends up going down slightly after that. But of course, they've got that yellow utility control, and there's the 2-person wrecking ball that you talked about earlier. Both players go down because of it, and they've got that crossfire on the top center as well. A lot of damage was done, and a 6-kill lead. Make that 7 now for LVT.
You're just constantly seeing any damage that gets started gets followed up on. That's why this team has the lead right here. They're not letting anyone escape with their shields, and that's by being constantly constantly applying the aggression in all these different situations. Sab also playing out of his mind, finding every angle that he possibly could hit. All these one-shot targets. You know he's just listening to everything. He's immediately identifying targets. The communication must be out of control on the side of LVT. They know they're all in this base. I can guarantee you they're going to collapse from multiple angles. Sab's not going to overcommit though. Understands he can just get out of dodge with the thrust and then reset the situation. Now up by still 7 kills.
Yeah, that thrust being timed as well. You talked about so many things being timed by the coach. You know, that coach has to pay attention to the thrust. You know, that thrust being literally an instant win for anyone with it. You literally have a very high percentage to win that 1v1 fight if you end up having to be in that. But also it's used as a defensive to stay alive, to play your life. 40-33 now, a 7-kill lead here for LVT. Sab, once again, 16 kills and only 7 deaths with 8 assists as well. I mean, he's absolutely popping off in this game.
Yeah, it's all about his movement. You saw the way he was moving around P2 and P1 there. He jumped back up to P2. He's keenly aware of what the other team's calling out for his location, so he's not going to be in the same spot the next time they look there. And that's really what's been able to put him in all these positions to pick off so many kills. He's just being so slippery. It's so hard to identify exactly where he's at, and the rest of the team is collapsing very well.
Native White is starting to chop away at this lead, though. It's only a 4-kill lead now for LVT. They've got to start playing their lives a little bit more. You see the triple push here for Native White. LVT able to trade out 1 kill, but once again, Native White starting to get that momentum here, and LVT has to stop that. They've got to find those isolated players. They've got to make sure to push as a unit. They still get that they still maintain that 4-kill lead, but they've got to kind of make sure they play a little bit safe here going into the latter portions of this game.
Yeah, Native White kind of turtling a little bit here, but I like that they're now taking space on multiple sides. They sent a player to P side and now pushing multiple members through car side. Now only a 3-kill deficit. Native White playing this in-game very well, very patiently, and very disciplined. Yeah,
Kuhlect, look at Kuhlect right there. He was able to play his life. He's been no shield for about 15 seconds now, still able to play his life, and that's one of the problems, right? They're not able to clean him up. That's what makes, I think, Kuhlect one of the better players in the game. I think that's what one of his shining points are, his ability to stay alive. He does go down there, though. Only a 1-kill lead now, 47-46.
Yeah, this is a sinking feeling if you were the team up by 8 slays. Now only 1 squad away from potentially losing it. This next battle going to be so important. Both teams trying to fight for space here. First pick goes to LVT. That's got to bode well for their chances to close this game out.
48-46 now. KingJay's going to push in, gets the kill. They only need 1 more now. LVT will close out game number 2 with this kill, and they get it. 2-0 now versus Native White. LVT go up.
Wow, wow, wow. The discipline. That ended at 50-49, by the way. The ice. So 2 players did go down, but they're able to trade out that last kill with the 1-point advantage. And, man, honestly, great plays from both teams. You saw the way they were taking space around the map, but also doing the 2-man, 3-man pushes quite frequently. And first game was kind of heavily in LVT's favor. Second game, not so much. So you have to wonder, maybe Native White's waking up a little bit. They closed the gap at the very end of that last game. If they're able to kind of build that momentum and start off live fire, you know, securing more slays than LVT, this could end up being a Native White game.
Let's talk about mentals, though, real quick.
Yeah.
Native White's mental is chalked, okay? You literally just lost that game by 1 kill. You got dominated in game number 1. You lost that game by 1 kill. I mean, they're going into game number 3. I'm going to be honest. At a tournament, obviously, you're very confident. You kind of, you know, you let that last game go. But it's still in the back of your head. You're still thinking, okay, wow, we could have easily closed that game out, and we weren't able to. And on the other end of things, let's talk about the mental of LVT. They're coming into this next game confident. They're ready to win. They're ready to close this series out right now. They're ready to 3-0 Native White, and that 3-0 is really going to bode well for them in terms of the rest of this tournament. You 3-0 Native White, you're looking really good. You're looking in the mirror, you're saying, I'm really good at this game. Like, I deserve to be on Championship Sunday.
No, absolutely. I mean, going up 2-0 in the series, only needing 1 more to advance to winners 4, which is, I think, the qualifying match to make it into, maybe there's 1 more match after that, but either way, I don't know. I don't think it's over yet. I think that if there's any game type for Mikwen and friends to come back here, it's probably Live Fire King. That's a very, I mean, it can go both ways.
Right.
I don't know. I feel like this game type can really go any way, and it does favor the team that usually makes rotations a little bit faster for the next hill. Like if the hill is moving to C plat, who's going to get to the tower first? You know, little things like that can make a huge difference in this game type, and I feel like members of both teams are going to be good at that. But with a player like Mikwen, who is just always in the right spot at the right time, I feel like you're going to have to shut him down so he's not just always securing good spawns for his team.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. Of course, I love Native White. They're all great group of guys. But I mean, listen to me. I'm on the other side right now. Okay, I am on the other side. Yeah, I am a biased caster today. I'm allowed to be. I asked my boss. He said I'm allowed to be. So I'm being biased today. And you know, like I said, LVT definitely coming off that game really strong. We'll see if they can continue on here in game number 3. We've got Live Fire, King of the Hill, and we're on board with KingJay.
Yeah, it hits a very nice nade shot to open the round. That shuts down the member of Native White that was trying to get the sniper rifle. Looks like another member able to get one shot. If KingJay can escape with this sniper, it bodes well for them, but maybe a little bit too aggressive. I'd like to see him just kind of get out of dodge, make sure he holds on to that. But this is the interesting meta that's kind of started on this game type. One team deciding, you know what, they can fight for overshield. We'll just get half of the first hill. Right. It takes 40 seconds to cap a hill, and it takes 30 seconds for the overshield to spawn. So if you just get in the hill early, I mean, this could be a very early cap. There's only 3 seconds that have actually elapsed on the in-game timer.
And they have a player already, I believe, set up on the Brute side, if I'm not mistaken. No, it's going to be this player right here on your screen. It's KingJay. He wasn't set up by the Brutes, but regardless, they're going to have that initial pressure here on the tower, the thing you literally talked about a couple seconds ago. But they do go 3 down. This will be controlled for Native White, and it's going to be now a push that has to come out of LVT to break this setup. But look who's got the sniper. It's going to be, of course, Kuhlect at the top of tower.
Yeah, this guy might be the best live fire sniper in the game. He just finds angles that I don't see anybody else find, and he seems to always hit the quick scope. And this position's so important. You want to control the tower or fight for the tower before you even get any hill time, because if you just get straight into the hill, it's unlikely you're going to accumulate much time, right? So you got to secure the space around the hill, make sure that your hill player can actually stand in it for an extended period of time and actually get some time. So right now, both teams just fighting for tower. They're not even getting in the hill.
And I know there's mouse and keyboard players watching. If you get the top of this tower, I'm telling you right now, you can secure every hill on this side of the map. It is actually extremely strong, especially with those sight lines in the top center. But there it is. It's going to be Piggy, the player we haven't talked much about yet in this tournament, in this series. And he's going to be making some waves here with that snipe, but he ends up going down pretty quickly. And like you said, without that tower control, nothing has happened in terms of hills here. Only maybe 15% of this hill has been taken. That OS was the play, but unfortunately that OS will go down. It's going to take some nasty shots there. They take him out. It's going to be, of course, Piggy, but Native White will get that OS. Look at the damage that's been done to it already.
Yeah, and I mean, throughout all that, it's only until recently did they actually get hill time. You kind of got to wonder if maybe they fought a little too hard for it. They could be significantly further in this hill, but still looking very good for Native White to do this. But wow, the jump. Wow. With the plasma pistol, what a huge double kill. This is, I believe, Sab on our screen right now. I said time and time again, this guy's ability to find angles when enemies don't expect it is so incredible.
Yeah, his last game, right, he performed insanely, and he's already doing it in this game as well. I believe in the last game he got like 17 kills or so. But here, again, continuing to put the damage in, but they have to get this top tower control, and it's going to be, of course, Diagram, who takes a little bit of that, ends up almost going down, stays alive barely with no shields there, but that's the big thing, right? He stays alive on the top tower. Now they've got to kind of look at him. They've got to take him off this tower, and now he's, you know, that player that you know, has a lot of value here on C-Plat.
This is one of the hardest setups to break in the game. When a team has full control of the tower, they're watching all lanes of approach. It's very difficult. You have to time it almost perfectly and probably have some good guns to help you with it. The sniper player on Native White gets taken down. That doesn't look good for their chances to break the setup. Now 2 more go down for Native White. Just Suspector alive, and he's probably going to get taken out right here.
Yep. Okay, well, it's a little bit of a tornado, but we quelled it. Diagram ends up cleaning up that kill, and it looks like they may potentially get the rest of this hill. When do you toss this hill if you're Native White? Like, when is the the time to kind of toss it? Because right now, look how far up Kuhlect is pushed. Oh, he's playing safe here. Oh. He ends up getting one down to no shields, gets the other one, cleans it up. Great target switch there for Kuhlect, gets 2 right off the bat.
So sneaky, and he probably peeped the timer on the heat wave.
Whoa. Oh boy, okay, that was a little close there, Eli.
Yeah, both players kind of whiffing a little bit, powering up the energy source with the windmill, but heat wave probably on respawn. I think it's LVT that does traverse their bottom mid. I have to imagine they grab the heat wave en route. And this looks like a good setup early for LVT on the 3rd hill.
It's just that confidence, that confidence, that momentum that LVT had going into this game number 3. It just They've you know, some teams oh, that was a nice no-scope there. Not able to clean up any of the kills, though. Ends up getting taken out. That will be Native White's control now. But again, LVT keep aggressing here on the hill. They keep finding the one-shot kills. And again, there will be another kill here. That will be Diagram picking those two up. And they'll have control once again. He wants more, though. He's got a teammate to help him make that 3 down for Native White, but they continue to push through the big door.
Yeah, so during this hill, I like to have a player that just stays at green, because that's the best place for the other team to spawn if they want to push it, right? They just keep holding forward. There's constantly damage that needs to be followed up on. So I'd like to see a member of LVT, as we see one did just extend to green. They recognized the issue, they filled the gap, and now the other team is only going to spawn at tower and dummies, which is a lot harder approach angle for this hill.
Yeah, look how much time they've gotten because of that spawn that you just called out. I mean, all this time has been taken. Now another kill here for Sab. He gets a double. 3 down for Native White. A third hill on the board almost here for LVT, but I mean, they've got a lot of work to do. 4 dead once again, and all the while, 3 hills posted, and almost a 3-game lead if they close this last hill out.
Yeah, this is a sinking feeling in your stomach. If you're on Native White, you feel like you've worked so hard leading up to this tournament. Finding yourself in the loser's bracket early does not sit well in their minds, so you know they're going to keep fighting for this, but is the mental damage too strong? This is going to be very hard for them to come back. They're going to have perfect gameplay from here on out. This is a good start, though. They've got the sniper on the tower. They've got early hill time, already about half this hill.
This comeback is definitely possible, but it's going to take a lot here. And it starts off with this player at the top of tower, like you just mentioned. It's Mikwen. Called him one of the best snipers since he's picked up a controller. We'll see if he's able to prove you right. One shot is all he needs. That first initial pick, they do get down Suspector here, so they'll have a numbers advantage for at least 2 more seconds. And they get the kill on to Kuhlect. Now pushing up just a bit. The Shroud screen comes out. 3 down for Native White. And like I said, LVT with the just insane progression here, using that momentum. 3-0, they win the series.
Incredible stuff from
Watch
LVT.
The pop-off. There it is, the pop-off. Oh, man, wow.
He said,
there it is.
Nah. That's the end of your winner's bracket, dog. Good luck.
Loser's bracket now has to be had here for Native White, and like you said, this was a rough one here for winners round 3, I believe it is, right?
Yeah.
That's a rough matchup to be had for Native White. They weren't able to come through with anything. LVT pick it up with a nice 3-0 sweep and a very convincing one besides that game too.